Did you know that some of history's greatest minds, from Roman emperors to modern-day leaders, have relied on the ancient wisdom of Stoicism to navigate life's toughest challenges? Today, we're diving deep into Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that's more relevant now than ever. Imagine facing adversity with unwavering calm, transforming obstacles into opportunities, and living each day with purpose and resilience. That's the power of Stoicism, and in this video, I'll show you 9 transformative exercises to help you start your Stoic journey. Whether you're looking to boost your mental toughness, find peace in chaos, or simply live a more fulfilling life, these Stoic practices will give you the tools to thrive. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll have a roadmap to harness the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and apply it to your everyday life. Before we dive in, if you appreciate what we're doing here, a simple favor I ask from you is to hit the subscribe button and don't skip any part of the video. Let's get started. Number 1. The dichotomy of control. This concept is all about understanding and accepting the distinction between what we can control and what we can't. It's a simple idea, but mastering it can transform your life. In Stoicism, the dichotomy of control teaches us that the universe is full of events and circumstances that are beyond our influence. We can't control the weather, the actions of others, or the passage of time. However, we do have control over our own thoughts, actions, and responses. Epictetus famously said, "The chief task in life is to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control." This principle can be incredibly liberating. Imagine how much mental energy we waste worrying about things that are completely out of our hands. By focusing only on what we can control, we reclaim that energy and direct it towards productive, positive actions. This isn't about passivity or resignation. It's about active engagement with the aspects of life where we can make a difference. Think about the last time you were stuck in traffic, fuming at the delay. Stoicism reminds us that we can't control the traffic, but we can control our reaction to it. Instead of getting angry, we can use that time to listen to an audiobook, practice deep breathing, or simply accept the situation with patience. By shifting our focus from what we can't control to what we can, we change our experience of the event. The dichotomy of control also encourages us to let go of the need to control others. We often fall into the trap of trying to change the behaviors or opinions of those around us, leading to frustration and conflict. Stoicism teaches that we should focus on our own conduct and character. By setting a positive example and maintaining our own standards, we can influence others indirectly without the stress of trying to control them. Furthermore, embracing this Stoic principle helps us build resilience. Life is unpredictable and challenges are inevitable. When we accept that many events are beyond our control, we can face adversity with greater equanimity. We learn to adapt and respond constructively rather than being overwhelmed by circumstances. Number 2. Journaling. Marcus Aurelius is perhaps the most famous Stoic journaler. His work, Meditations, is essentially a series of personal notes and reflections on life, virtue, and the nature of the universe. What's remarkable is that these writings were never intended for publication. They were private reflections meant to help him live according to Stoic principles. This practice of journaling helped Marcus clarify his thoughts, evaluate his actions, and maintain his commitment to Stoic virtues in the face of immense pressure and responsibility. So, what makes Stoic journaling different from other forms of journaling? It's all about intentionality and focus. Stoic journaling isn't just about recording events. It's about reflecting on your thoughts, actions, and feelings through the lens of Stoic philosophy. It's a daily exercise in self-improvement and mental clarity. Let's break it down into practical steps. First, set aside a few minutes each day for journaling. It can be in the morning to set the tone for the day, or in the evening to reflect on the day's events. The key is consistency. Use this time to write about your experiences, but more importantly, analyze them. What did you do well? Where did you fall short? How did you respond to challenges, and how could you have handled them better? By examining these questions, you can identify areas for improvement and develop strategies for handling similar situations more effectively in the future. Seneca also emphasized the importance of journaling. He advised his readers to review their day each evening, asking themselves what they did right, what they did wrong, and what they could do better. This process helps cultivate self-awareness and accountability, two crucial aspects of Stoic practice. Journaling can also serve as a tool for reinforcing Stoic principles. For instance, you can use your journal to remind yourself of key Stoic teachings, such as the dichotomy of control or the practice of Amor fati, loving one's fate. Write down quotes from Stoic philosophers that resonate with you and reflect on how you can apply these ideas in your life. Moreover, journaling can help you track your progress over time. By regularly reviewing your entries, you can see patterns in your behavior and thought processes. This can provide valuable insights into your personal growth and highlight areas where you still need to work. It's a tangible record of your journey towards becoming a more resilient, virtuous individual. Another benefit of Stoic journaling is that it can serve as a form of mental decluttering. Life can be chaotic, and our minds are often filled with a jumble of thoughts, worries, and distractions. Writing things down can help organize these thoughts and bring a sense of order and clarity. It allows you to process your emotions and experiences in a structured way, which can reduce stress and anxiety. Incorporating journaling into your daily routine doesn't require a lot of time or effort. You don't need a fancy notebook or extensive writing skills. All you need is a few minutes of quiet reflection and a willingness to be honest with yourself. Over time, this simple practice can have profound effects on your mindset and overall well-being. Number 3. Train for adversity. Epictetus often spoke about the importance of preparing for hardships. He said, "We must undergo a hard winter training and not rush into things for which we haven't prepared." This idea is rooted in the belief that adversity is inevitable, but how we respond to it is within our control. By practicing discomfort intentionally, we become better equipped to face unexpected difficulties with grace and strength. One practical way to train for adversity is through physical challenges. The Stoics would often expose themselves to harsh conditions to build mental and physical toughness. For instance, they might take cold baths, wear minimal clothing in winter, or fast for extended periods. These practices were not about self-punishment, but about strengthening their ability to endure and remain composed under pressure. Modern equivalents could be taking cold showers, practicing intermittent fasting, or engaging in strenuous exercise. Another aspect of training for adversity involves stepping out of our comfort zones in everyday life. This could mean taking on tasks that intimidate us, speaking up in situations where we might prefer to stay silent, or learning new skills that challenge our current abilities. By pushing our boundaries, we develop a habit of facing fear and uncertainty head-on, which can make us more resilient in the face of genuine adversity. Mental exercises are equally important in this training. The Stoics practiced what they called Premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involves regularly contemplating potential challenges or misfortunes and envisioning how you would respond to them. This doesn't mean dwelling on negative thoughts, but rather preparing your mind for possible difficulties. By doing so, you reduce the shock and emotional impact when such events occur and are more likely to respond with calm and reason. Seneca advised practicing voluntary poverty. He would occasionally live as if he had lost all his wealth, eating simple food and wearing basic clothing. This practice helped him appreciate what he had and prepared him for any future loss. In today's context, you could try living with less for a short period, reducing your spending, minimizing your possessions, or disconnecting from technology. This not only builds resilience, but also fosters gratitude for the comforts we often take for granted. Training for adversity also includes cultivating emotional resilience. The Stoics emphasized the importance of controlling our reactions to external events. When faced with criticism, failure, or loss, the goal is to maintain equanimity and not be swept away by negative emotions. This is where the practice of cognitive reframing comes in handy. By consciously reinterpreting negative experiences in a positive or neutral light, we can mitigate their emotional impact. For example, instead of seeing failure as a setback, view it as a valuable learning opportunity. Community and social support play a vital role in this training as well. The Stoics believed in the interconnectedness of all human beings and the importance of supporting one another. Engaging with a supportive community can provide encouragement and accountability as you face challenges. Sharing your experiences and learning from others can reinforce your resilience and offer new perspectives on handling adversity. Mindfulness and meditation are powerful tools in training for adversity. Regular mindfulness practice can enhance your ability to stay present and focused, even in stressful situations. It helps you observe your thoughts and emotions without getting entangled in them, allowing for more measured and rational responses. Incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine can create a strong mental foundation to navigate life's ups and downs. Number 4. Training perceptions. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is that we are disturbed not by things, but by the views we take of them. This insight comes from Epictetus, who emphasized that it's not external events that cause us distress, but rather our judgments about those events. This means that by changing our perceptions, we can change our emotional responses and ultimately our experience of life. Imagine you're caught in a sudden rainstorm. You can perceive this situation in multiple ways. You might see it as an inconvenience, getting frustrated and annoyed by the disruption to your day. Alternatively, you could see it as an opportunity to embrace nature, enjoy the refreshing feeling of rain, and even have a bit of fun splashing in puddles. The external event, the rain, remains the same, but your perception of it changes your entire experience. Training your perceptions starts with awareness. Begin by paying attention to your automatic thoughts and judgments throughout the day. Notice how you react to different situations and what kinds of narratives you create in your mind. Are you quick to label events as good or bad? Do you often see challenges as threats rather than opportunities? Becoming aware of these patterns is the first step toward changing them. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often wrote about the importance of seeing things objectively. He reminded himself to look at events and people without judgment, stripping away any preconceived notions or emotional reactions. This practice can help you see situations more clearly and respond more rationally. For instance, instead of getting upset because a colleague was rude to you, you could choose to see it as a reflection of their stress or personal issues, rather than a personal attack. Another effective technique is reframing. This involves consciously changing your perspective on a situation to view it in a more positive or neutral light. For example, if you're facing a difficult project at work, instead of thinking, "This is too hard, I'll never get it done," you could reframe it as, This is a challenging opportunity for me to grow and learn new skills. This shift in perspective can reduce anxiety and increase motivation. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of seeing events in a broader context. Marcus Aurelius often used a mental exercise known as the view from above to remind himself of the vastness of the universe and his small place within it. By imagining himself looking down on the world from a high vantage point, he gained perspective on his problems, realizing how insignificant most worries are in the grand scheme of things. This practice can help you let go of minor annoyances and focus on what truly matters. Training perceptions also involves cultivating gratitude. The Stoics believed that recognizing the good in our lives helps counterbalance negative perceptions. Take time each day to reflect on what you're grateful for, no matter how small. This practice can shift your focus from what's wrong to what's right, enhancing your overall sense of well-being. Another aspect of training perceptions is recognizing the impermanence of all things. The Stoics often reminded themselves that everything is temporary: our possessions, our relationships, even our lives. By keeping this in mind, we can appreciate what we have while it lasts and avoid excessive attachment or fear of loss. This perspective helps us remain calm and resilient in the face of change and uncertainty. Remember that training perceptions is a continuous practice. It's not something you master overnight, but a lifelong journey of self-improvement. Keep challenging your automatic thoughts, practicing gratitude, and seeking new ways to reframe your experiences. Over time, you'll find that your ability to perceive events more positively and objectively will strengthen, leading to a more balanced and fulfilling life. Number 5. Remember, it's all ephemeral. At the heart of this practice is the understanding that nothing in life is permanent. Our possessions, relationships, successes, failures, joys, and sorrows all are fleeting. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflected on this theme. He wrote, "Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly." This might sound morbid at first, but it's actually a call to live fully and mindfully, appreciating each moment for what it is. Recognizing the ephemerality of life helps us to detach from the things we often cling to. We spend so much energy worrying about losing what we have or striving to acquire more, but Stoicism reminds us that these pursuits are ultimately futile, because everything is subject to change. By accepting this, we can focus on what truly matters: our character, our actions, and our relationships. One way to internalize this concept is through the practice of memento mori, a Latin phrase meaning, "remember that you will die." This isn't about being morose, it's about gaining perspective. By contemplating our mortality, we can better prioritize our time and energy. Instead of getting bogged down by trivial concerns, we can focus on what gives our lives meaning and purpose. This practice encourages us to live with intention and integrity, making the most of the limited time we have. Consider the beauty of a sunset. Part of what makes it so breathtaking is its transience. We know that it won't last long, which compels us to savor each moment. The same principle applies to our lives. By embracing the fact that our experiences are temporary, we can appreciate them more deeply. This mindset can transform how we approach everything from our daily routines to our most significant life events. Stoicism also teaches us to view challenges and adversities as temporary. When we're in the midst of a difficult situation, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and believe that it will last forever. But by remembering that everything is ephemeral, we can gain the strength to persevere. Just as good times don't last forever, neither do the bad times. This realization can provide comfort and resilience, helping us to face hardships with a stoic calm. Understanding impermanence can foster gratitude. When we recognize that the people and things we cherish won't be around forever, we are more likely to appreciate them fully in the present. This practice of gratitude aligns with the Stoic virtue of mindfulness, being fully present and engaged in the moment. By appreciating the transient nature of life, we cultivate a deeper sense of joy and fulfillment. It's also worth noting that this principle doesn't mean we should become indifferent or detached from life. On the contrary, it encourages us to engage more deeply, knowing that our time is limited. We are prompted to make meaningful connections, pursue our passions, and contribute positively to the world around us. Stoicism calls us to live vibrantly and purposefully, despite, or perhaps because of, life's impermanence. In practical terms, you can start by reflecting on the temporary nature of your day-to-day experiences. When you find yourself stressed or anxious about a particular issue, remind yourself that this too shall pass. When you experience joy or success, savor it fully, knowing that it is a fleeting moment. This balanced perspective helps to temper our reactions and maintain a steady, grounded approach to life. Number 6. Take the view from above. Marcus Aurelius often used this technique. In his meditations, he would imagine himself looking down on the world from a high vantage point, like from the top of a mountain or even from the perspective of the stars. This practice helped him to see the interconnectedness of all things and the relative insignificance of his own troubles in the grand scheme of the universe. It reminded him that his life, with all its challenges and triumphs, was just a small part of a much larger whole. When you practice taking the view from above, you begin by visualizing yourself rising above your current situation. Picture yourself floating upward, looking down on your home, your city, and eventually the entire planet. As you ascend, notice how your problems and stresses shrink in size. What seemed overwhelming up close now appears much more manageable when seen from a distance. This exercise helps to put our daily worries into perspective. When we're caught up in the minutiae of our lives, it's easy to feel like our problems are the center of the universe. But the view from above reminds us that there's a vast world out there, full of people with their own struggles and joys. This realization can be humbling and liberating, freeing us from the narrow focus that often fuels anxiety and stress. Taking the view from above also fosters a sense of interconnectedness. It reminds us that we are part of a larger community, a global ecosystem where every action has ripple effects. This perspective can cultivate empathy and compassion as we recognize that our experiences are shared by many others. It also encourages us to think about the impact of our actions on the broader world and to strive to contribute positively. Another benefit of this practice is that it can help us to prioritize what truly matters. When we zoom out and look at our lives from a distance, it becomes easier to see which concerns are trivial and which deserve our attention. This can guide us in making decisions that align with our values and long-term goals, rather than getting bogged down by short-term distractions. Practicing the view from above can also be a powerful tool for stress management. When faced with a difficult situation, try to step back mentally and see it from a higher perspective. Ask yourself how this moment fits into the larger narrative of your life. Will this issue matter a year from now, 5 years from now? Often, this broader perspective reveals that many of our worries are temporary and not as critical as they seem in the moment. Moreover, the view from above can inspire awe and wonder. When we contemplate the vastness of the universe and our small place within it, we can feel a sense of connection to something greater than ourselves. This can be deeply comforting and motivating, reminding us that we are part of a larger story that spans time and space. Incorporating this practice into your daily routine can be as simple as taking a few moments each day to visualize your life from above. You might do this during a meditation session, on a walk, or whenever you find yourself feeling overwhelmed. The key is to regularly remind yourself of the bigger picture and to cultivate a mindset that embraces perspective and interconnectedness. Number 7. Meditate on your mortality. This practice, known in Latin as memento mori, is about contemplating the inevitability of death to gain a deeper appreciation for life. While it might sound somber, meditating on your mortality is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy that can profoundly transform your perspective and priorities. The Stoics believed that regularly reflecting on our mortality helps us live more fully and intentionally. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself of this truth. In his Meditations, he wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't about morbid fixation, but rather a call to recognize the fleeting nature of life and to make the most of every moment. Why is this practice so impactful? For one, it strips away the trivial concerns that often consume our daily lives. When we remember that our time is limited, it becomes easier to see which pursuits are truly meaningful and which are mere distractions. This clarity can guide us to focus on what really matters, spending time with loved ones, pursuing our passions, and living according to our values. Meditating on mortality can also reduce fear and anxiety. Many of our fears stem from a denial of our own mortality. By confronting the reality of death directly, we can diminish its power over us. The Stoic philosopher Seneca advised, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day." The one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time. This mindset encourages us to live each day as if it were our last, fully embracing the present and letting go of unnecessary worries. To incorporate this practice into your life, you might start by setting aside a few minutes each day to reflect on the impermanence of life. This could be during your morning meditation, in the evening before bed, or at any quiet moment during the day. Close your eyes and consider the fact that your time is finite. Think about what you would do differently if you knew this was your last day. What regrets would you avoid? What actions would you take? You can also use visual reminders of mortality. Some people keep a memento mori on their desk, an hourglass, a skull, or a simple note, to serve as a constant reminder to live fully. These symbols can help anchor you in the present and prompt you to reflect on how you're spending your time. Another approach is to consider the legacies of those who have passed before you. Reflect on what they left behind and how they are remembered. This can inspire you to think about the impact you want to have and the legacy you want to leave. It's a reminder that while our lives are temporary, our actions can have lasting effects on the world and the people around us. Meditating on mortality can also deepen your gratitude for life's simple pleasures. When you recognize that each moment is a gift, you start to appreciate the small things, the warmth of the sun, the sound of laughter, the taste of a good meal. This heightened sense of gratitude can enhance your overall well-being and make everyday experiences more fulfilling. In conversations with loved ones, this practice can foster deeper connections. When you're aware of the fragility of life, you're more likely to express your appreciation, resolve conflicts, and spend quality time with those who matter most. It encourages you to live with an open heart, free from the burdens of unspoken words and unresolved issues. Meditating on mortality can strengthen your resilience. Knowing that life is unpredictable and that death is a certainty can help you face challenges with greater courage. It reinforces the Stoic idea that while we cannot control external events, we can control how we respond to them. By accepting the reality of death, we can live more bravely and authentically. Number 8. Premeditatio, malorum. Imagine you're about to embark on a significant project at work. Instead of only focusing on the positive outcomes, take a moment to consider what could go wrong. What if you encounter unexpected obstacles? What if your initial plan fails? By thinking through these scenarios, you can develop contingency plans and mentally brace yourself for setbacks. This doesn't mean you should dwell on the negative, but rather approach potential problems with a proactive mindset. Premeditatio malorum can be applied to various aspects of life. For instance, if you're planning a big event like a wedding or a vacation, consider the things that might not go as planned: bad weather, delays, or misunderstandings. By anticipating these possibilities, you can prepare alternative solutions and remain calm if they occur. This foresight allows you to enjoy the present moment more fully, knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. Another powerful aspect of this practice is its ability to reduce anxiety. Often, our fear of the unknown can be more debilitating than the actual events themselves. By confronting these fears head-on, we diminish their power over us. Epictetus taught that we should not just prepare for minor inconveniences, but also for significant life changes, such as loss of a loved one or a drastic shift in circumstances. This mental rehearsal enables us to face reality with greater courage and acceptance. To incorporate premeditatio malorum into your daily routine, set aside a few minutes each morning or evening to reflect on the day ahead. Think about the tasks you need to accomplish and consider what challenges might arise. Visualize yourself handling these challenges with poise and effectiveness. This exercise can help you start your day with a sense of readiness and confidence, knowing that you're prepared for whatever comes your way. It's also helpful to keep a journal of your premeditations. Writing down potential scenarios and your planned responses can reinforce your mental preparation. Over time, you'll likely notice patterns in the types of challenges you anticipate, which can provide insights into areas where you might need to develop further skills or strategies. Beyond daily inconveniences, premeditatio malorum can be a valuable tool for long-term planning. When making significant life decisions, such as changing careers, moving to a new city, or starting a family, take time to contemplate the possible difficulties and how you would address them. This practice encourages a balanced approach, considering both the positive and negative aspects of any significant change. It's important to strike a balance with this practice. The goal is not to become pessimistic or overly focused on potential problems, but to develop a realistic and proactive mindset. By preparing for the worst, we can maintain hope and optimism, knowing we are equipped to handle adversity. Number 9. Amor fati. The idea of amor fati is deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. It encourages us to not just accept our fate, but to embrace it wholeheartedly. Nietzsche, although not a Stoic, famously championed this concept, saying, "My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it. All idealism is mendaciousness in the face of what is necessary, but love it." Imagine you're going through a tough period. Maybe you lost your job, or you're dealing with a personal loss. Amor fati doesn't mean you should be happy about these events in a superficial sense. Instead, it means seeing these challenges as integral to your life story. They are shaping you, teaching you resilience, patience, and perhaps opening up new paths you hadn't considered. One way to practice amor fati is to reflect on past experiences, where adversity led to personal growth. Maybe a difficult breakup led you to discover new hobbies and friendships. Or perhaps losing a job pushed you to pursue a career you're more passionate about. By recognizing how past challenges have contributed to your development, you can begin to trust that current and future difficulties will do the same. The Stoics believed that everything happens for a reason, even if we can't see it at the moment. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often wrote about the interconnectedness of all things and how every event is part of a larger cosmic plan. He encouraged himself to love the hand that fate deals you and play it as your own. This perspective transforms obstacles into opportunities and helps us see life as a coherent and meaningful whole. Practicing Amor fati also means letting go of resistance. When we resist what happens to us, we create additional suffering. By accepting events as they come, we conserve our energy for responding constructively rather than fighting against reality. This doesn't mean being passive or resigned. Instead, it's about engaging with life fully, knowing that every experience contributes to our growth. Amor fati also encourages gratitude. By embracing everything that happens, we cultivate a mindset of appreciation for life's complexity. We begin to see that every moment, pleasant or unpleasant, is a gift that enriches our experience. This gratitude can deepen our connections with others, enhance our enjoyment of life, and foster a sense of peace. To incorporate Amor fati into your life, start by reflecting on your current challenges. Ask yourself how these difficulties might be shaping you for the better. What strengths are you developing? What new opportunities might be emerging? By focusing on these questions, you can begin to see your struggles in a more positive light. You can also create daily rituals to reinforce this mindset. For example, at the end of each day, take a few moments to review the events of the day and express gratitude for both the highs and the lows. Recognize how each experience is contributing to your growth and commit to embracing whatever comes your way. As we wrap up, remember this: embracing the wisdom of Stoicism can transform your life, helping you find strength in adversity, clarity in chaos, and peace amidst turmoil. Thank you for being a part of the Stoic Journal community. If you found value in this journey, don't miss out on the other insightful videos we've curated just for you. Click on one of the suggested videos on the screen and continue your path towards a more resilient and fulfilling life. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.